The next award is the Geothermal Pioneer Award. And this recognizes outstanding achievements and contributions to the development of geothermal resources. This award recognizes individuals with a long service to the industry, which has led the way for the rest of us. And I am very pleased to announce Bill Rickard as this year's Geothermal Pioneer Award recipient. Bill is a president of GRG, Geothermal Resources Group. In his 40-plus year career, he's worked on multiple continents and varying environments and is widely recognized as a leading expert in the industry in geothermal exploration and development. Bill worked initially about 15 years for Unocal, where he became drilling manager and division drilling training coordinator. He has a bachelor's of science in petroleum engineering from Montana Tech. He's a registered PE, and he's worked on the GRC, the former GRC, now Geothermal Rising Board of Directors, as well as the GEA Board of Directors. It gives me great pleasure to recognize you tonight, Bill Rickard.
Thank you for this honor. I wish to thank the Geothermal Resources Council, Dennis Casperate for nominating me, the Honors and Awards Committee for selecting me, and all those who supported my nomination for the Pioneer Award. I'm truly impressed. My name is on a list of awardees that starts with B.C. McCabe. There were 46 recipients in 40 years of awards that started with BC in 1980. There have been awards to groups and multiple recipients over the years. Of this rather impressive group, I knew about 25, and I worked with more than a dozen of them, and that was a humbling experience. And here I am, the 47th recipient. About 1979, I met B.C. McCabe for the first time while supervising a rig at the Big Geysers. There was a fellow in a suit and a fedora walking around the drilling location looking things over. I went out to see if he belonged there. He introduced himself, and we had a nice conversation about recent advancements in drilling. Mr. McCabe was very nice to a young field supervisor, and he was already a legend. He was somebody to aspire to emulate. I hope that my impact on the industry measures up and that I've not received this just because I've been around for a long time. As most of you are aware, I'm basically a drilling guy. I used to tell people that all the smart engineers got out of drilling as quickly as they could. So by my own admission, I question my judgment. This is a humbling affirmation of me that I've made another mistake. Receiving this award indicates that maybe my judgment is sound after all. All good drilling people are passionate about their work, and I hope that I'm leaving a positive mark on a vocation that I've been passionate about for almost half a century. Any of my achievements have been incremental and were not singular in their nature. I owe all my success to bosses, co-workers, associates, trainees, employees, and service company personnel. Not to skip over the geologists and reservoir engineers and folks from other disciplines who have had the pleasure to work with. I want to thank specifically my mentors, Bob Burden, Del Pyle, Steve Pye, Mac Laurie, and Don Ash, and also my friends and colleagues for their support and help, Bob Westermark, Paul Stroud, Fred Wilson, and everybody at GRG. I broke out with Union 76 at the Big Geysers in 1977 in the drilling department as a drilling supervisor. One thing I wanted early on was not to be like some of the people I worked with. Some folks thought that just because something worked for the last 30 years, that was reason enough to continue doing it that way. I didn't want to fall into that rut. I had the good fortune to take part in the Union 76 drilling training program. It was actually just a training program. All new engineers spent 5 months in the drilling department while in training. For a few years, I supervised the office portion of their drilling training. I had a large file cabinet drawer full of things I wanted to work on. I had trainees choose a project or come up with one of their own and make a significant advancement in that project during their time at drilling. A few years later, when I came back to the geysers as a Unocal engineer, I was able to see several of the projects that I'd worked on that had become standard operating procedures at the geysers operations. The trainees did most of it. I've accomplished nothing on my own. Drilling is a team effort. That experience was encouraging, and I want to tip my hat to the vision of the management at Unocal and Union for allowing me a free rein a good deal of the time. I hope that I've helped to drill more productive geothermal wells in a more efficient and safer way. I've stolen a few rules of thumb over the years that I'd like to share. I'm pretty sure this may be the largest audience I ever have. Some of my favorites are: first, remember, the sweetness of low cost is long good, while the bitterness of poor quality lingers on. And if you can't afford to do it right the first time, you certainly can't afford to redo it. There's only two things that go in a hole while drilling: steel and mud. And it's very difficult to screw up steel. And finally, what can be so complicated about drilling a well? After all, it's only a hole in the ground. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for the remarks, Bill. And on behalf of the industry, I have two comments. One is good judgment, and the second is I think you've made your mark.